Okay, April 13th, here we are, Khashoggi 1, across the Potomac here, of course, the Potomac Institute, funded by NATO. If you want to train some operatives from another country like Russia, you might look into the Potomac Institute. Again, funded by NATO, right over here. Now, a couple of people are saying, hey, you said Julian Assange may actually be in Virginia right now. Could have been that they were actually processing him at the, with the Freytag processing officer over in the Eastern District of Virginia. And I said, you don't know. We haven't seen him since August of last year. Well, I was pointing over to a place called the Mark Center. It's the same place where the Green Zone phones are. It's the same place where the folks inside Green Zone phones and Mike Flynn Intelligence Group with Louis Freeh and company said that this is like free DARPA. Now that's Louis Freeh, I think, talking more, and Justin Freeh, the son, talking more than Mike Flynn. But the key relationship there to Bijan Kian was called way before the Bijan Kian trial ever started, in the relationship to Nowruz. We also talked about how Green Zone phones came from the CTTSO, which was this public DARPA. We talked about the Mark Center. We talked about the base realignment and closure, all that happening. And what we said was, you don't know and I don't know if he's not already here. Now, we also produced recently the meeting over there at the Hilton right there by the Mark Center. And we said there was potentially a meeting between US law enforcement and British MI6. And we now have evidence to prove that. Now we know Chris Donnelly came in. We don't know if he went to the Potomac Institute to check in on NATO's investment over there at Potomac Institute. But we do know he went to the Navy Defense College over there in Fort McNair, just up the Potomac this way just a little bit. And we do know that he went to the State Department, and he probably went to visit his good friend, Victoria Nuland. So when people say, the final working theory when you were trying to connect the dots wasn't correct, or we still don't know if it was true or not. Julian Assange could have been on the USS New York until yesterday, until they brought him out. They could have flown, secreted him back to the embassy and then brought him out, but he probably wasn't. But we do know that there was key administration officials meeting with Chris Donnelly that were working behind the scenes to get Trump and the Trump administration, the DOJ, to write the extradition warrant. And we do know that was Sebastian Gorka. Again, if you unearth all the details and you make that final wrong connection, let's say I was wrong, we still don't know if I'm wrong or not, you still learned about Green Zone phones, CTTSO, the Potomac Institute, NATO funding for the Potomac Institute, the fact that they have the basic one here in the Potomac, the more advanced one down at Quantico. You learned about Green Zone phones, you learned about Justin Freeh, you learned about Bijan Kian, you learned about all the loans, you learned about the secret pipeline in Turkey and the secret pipeline in Azerbaijan, the secret pipeline in Georgia. You learned about the secret railroad from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. You learned all those things and all those loans that went into that. You learned about the Star Refinery. So even if the last little conclusion is wrong and we change it, and I admitted today quite freely that there was probably maybe an MI6 connection to DNC, the MIS department that I was so convinced was just a SEIU intelligence operation, may very well be true that task force ends up being right. Peter Smith maybe was the MI6 investment counselor for Chicago, and MI6 or MIS actually stands for MI6 in the Wrigley building. So I'm perfectly willing to say, maybe the dots connect in a slightly different way, but I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. If you march down the field and get to the 2-yard line, the game isn't over. You're still on the 2-yard line. This isn't where you have to punt the ball away. We're still on the 2-yard line. If we run one play and it doesn't work, we run it on the other side the other time and we score the touchdown. So for all those people who want to say, you didn't say everything perfect, you outlined 98% of it, but then you didn't get the last 2% done, so therefore it invalidates all the progress. No, this is cumulative. This is a group discovery. We're doing basically what the Mueller team does. We're doing what Fusion GPS did. Collect open source information in order to make the best case going forward about taking down the deep state. That's what this is about. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be say, well, I wasn't told everything perfectly, and we still don't know if I'm not right. We still don't know if Julian Assange wasn't out on some USS New York. Have they produced that information? No, I don't think they have. Everything I said about Lamo, this Adrian Lamo, this guy who seemed to be hacking he seems to be hacking on behalf of Bradley Manning. He seems to be putting things in Bradley Manning's pocket, setting things up so he can drop it in the secure Dropbox. All the deaths surrounding secure Dropbox, 4 programmers, 3 lawyers. It just seems like they are setting Assange up. And now we have this connection to the guy who actually owns the mansion, and he just seems to be MI6 everywhere you turn. You roll his die of his life, and every side comes up MI6. One minute he's the top champion sniper, the next minute he's making small, light, ultralight aircraft parts and planes. The next minute he's making documentaries to try to justify Britain's involvement in Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. So, again, if you're not in it for the process and not in it to dig, please go to another channel. We don't need you. You're excess baggage, and I don't care. This isn't about being perfectly right. This is about moving the ball forward and digging every day. I produced a whole bunch of information about different people that were in a picture with Seth Rich. That picture supposedly was Imran Awan. It's been out for 2 years. I said that wasn't Imran Awan. I identified potentially this Asian soccer club, which could be the network, the cover that Seth Rich was using for Awan Sports. We don't know if it's soccer balls yet, but we do know 2 of the people in the picture are soccer stars for the All Asian Network, one in Kuala Lumpur near Indonesia, where I'd said Seth Rich may be, and another one was from the All Asia team in Karachi, Pakistan. We also identified another Dr. Q in Lahore, Pakistan, that also seems to be in the picture, who everyone was saying was Imran Awan. So again, no one else is doing this kind of groundbreaking research. Again, if you want to be a naysayer and if you want to say this one thing you got wrong, and you were 1,000 miles ahead of everyone, but you made this one mistake at this 1 mile marker, please go to another channel. We don't need you. This is about taking down the deep state, not about satisfying somebody's ego or whatever. It's not about subscribers, not about any kind of gift or Patreon or anything like that. This is about taking down the deep state. And the only way you're going to do it is knowledge. Knowledge is power in this game. You're not going to ever win it with weapons. The weapon here is the mind.